G'day. Thank you for making your time or taking time to attend the webinar. My name's Thomas Wall. I'm the Technical Director and Exploration Manager for Legacy Minerals. And we're going to try and start doing more of these presentations, trying to keep our shareholders as informed as possible. So today I'm going to be taking you through some of the things that have happened over the last quarter. There's been a couple of things since Chris Lath gave the presentation. We're targeting high-value discoveries across New South Wales. As a bit of background, my work experience, previously worked for Goldfields in WA, Peak Gold Mines out of Cobar, and various New South Wales explorers. So let's get into it. There's the disclaimer. This presentation has been made available on the ASX, so please take your time to review that, read that. So Legacy Minerals, why are we exploring in New South Wales? Well, firstly, it's home to Australia's premier copper gold porphyry district and the largest gold mine in Australia. It's seen continued discovery success across at Achilles most recently in Cobar. Boda, there's not many 10 million ounce deposits in Australia that are undeveloped. Boda sits there to the north of Cadia, discovered by Alkane. And we've seen some recent discovery success by Waratah Minerals at their Spur project. So, discovery success is happening, and it's happening now in New South Wales. But we've also seen significant investment by the majors in New South Wales in recent times. We've seen MAC, acquire the CSA copper mine in Cobar. We've also seen Evolution acquire an interest in North Parkes mine, porphyry mine, and of course Newmont acquiring Newcrest and by extension the Cadia Valley mine. But it's not just the acquisitions which demonstrate a great interest in the mining prospectivity or the mining of New South Wales and the consideration that it's a good place to be for a mining company, but also the greenfields prospectivity. Over the last 12 months, we've seen almost $210 million in joint venture deals. That includes the likes of Fortescue coming into New South Wales, as well as Anglo Gold Ashanti. So, it's been a great place to explore. Legacy, we've got multiple drill campaigns currently ongoing and have been going since the start of the year, and they're delivering results. So currently we've got assays to come back from Ballura, which was drilled with Newmont. We've got drilling underway with our partners Earth AI at Fontenoy, PGE, nickel, copper and gold, and at Glenlogan with our partners S2R porphyry project. And then the rest of the portfolio is made up of a pipeline of projects and prospects that include the Drake epithermal, the Cobar project, Thomson, which I'll go into a bit of detail since that's a relatively new acquisition for the company, Black Range, Rockley and Hardin. Bit of an overview of the company. Current share price, 24 cents. Market cap is about 25 million. Shares on issue, 105 million. We put on there the cash of last quarter and the cash of this quarter, just to demonstrate that slow burn rate that comes through the strategy that we have with incorporating joint venture funding into our business model. We have no debt on issue. Joint venture funding up to 25.5 million has been committed across the projects. That include Newmont, S2R and Earth AI. Board and management, by way of introduction, we've got also Chairman Dr. David Carlin, previously a Chairman of Rex Minerals, who's been in the news recently, having been acquired by MAC Australia. Rex has the Hillside project in South Australia. Matthew Wall, experienced market and commodity trader, previous roles with EDFA and Rio Tinto. Doug Menzies, a wide experience in epithermal and porphyry environments, and currently, amongst other roles, the VP of Exploration for Inflection Resources, who manages the $130 million Anglo Gold joint venture in central west New South Wales. Our Managing Director and CEO, Chris Byrne, an electrical engineer, previously worked in the mines with Anglo American and has a strong experience in delivering large-scale infrastructure and projects. And then myself. So the value proposition, what makes Legacy possibly a bit different to other explorers is this hybrid discovery approach. We believe that the best way that we can deliver shareholder value through market cap increase is through discovery. And to do that, we need to have the drill bit spinning. And to keep the drill bit spinning and avoid significant dilution for our shareholders, we get the right partners on for the right projects. So shareholders are, though, leverage to the success of our 100% owned projects. So we have 600% owned high-quality projects. We've done exploration across all of these this year, and any discovery there, our shareholders see 100% of that discovery upside. On the other end, we have Newmont and S2 under joint ventures exploring significant tier 1 type targets. And Legacy in both of those joint ventures retains a 20% ownership at the end of those joint venture agreements through a loan carried agreement. So that hybrid discovery approach, it allows direct upside for shareholders through the self-funded exploration, minimises the dilution and financing risk with partner funding. We've secured a significant amount of funding through this model. And what that's allowed is, for this year, we anticipate 6 drill campaigns in 2024 across 4 different projects. That's a substantial amount of drilling for any junior. And we're pleased to be able to keep the drill bit spinning and allow shareholders that potential upside through a significant discovery. One of the questions we do get asked is, as a minority holder in a tier 1 discovery, are you really going to see that share price increase? And one of the slides that we present here is to demonstrate how that occurs. And this is an example where Greatland Gold out of WA made a discovery, an intrusion-related gold copper discovery. That discovery led to a joint venture with Newcrest, 60 million for 70% to be spent over 7 years, which would result in Greatland Gold holding a 30% interest in that project. From the date of that Newcrest farm-in, you see the market cap of Greatland Gold increase from approximately 100 million to 1.7 billion. So that's almost a 10 or over a 10 time increase in the market cap, and they got to see that in their share price as well. So that's the sort of 10 times increase that a discovery may potentially present should we find discoveries at any of our projects that we have those partnerships with. Legacy's joint venture with Newmont and S2 ensures sufficient funding to deliver a tier 1 drill out, and LGM, importantly, has that option for a 20% loan carried to production. So payments to come out of production revenue. So Legacy would continue to own a portion of a significant asset. Let's touch on the timeframes and discovery catalysts up the front. In August, we anticipate to provide an update on Drake. We expect the completion of the diamond drilling at Fontenoy, a PGE nickel copper target being drilled by our partners Earth AI. We anticipate to be able to provide a Cobar project update. Come September, we expect the completion of the diamond drilling at Glenlogan and expected assays from Ballura to start coming in. In October and onwards, there's the assays to come back from both Glenlogan and Fontenoy, and there'll be planning and possibly drilling at the Ballura project to follow up the work that was completed, the drilling that's just been completed and the work that was completed earlier this year. So let's touch on the Thomson Project. This is a belt scale exploration opportunity. It's a project that we've had our eye on for a while, and fortunately the time was right for us to be able to execute on the strategy to start exploring up here. There is confirmed intrusion-related gold potential up here, and that's not just us saying it, that's confirmed and supported by the studies that have been done by the Geological Surveys of New South Wales. So that proof of concept in historical drilling has been done. It's a target-rich environment. There are multiple clear, numerous bullseye magnetic and in some places coincident gravity anomalies that remain untested. The historical drilling has confirmed that these targets that have not yet been tested, but the drill holes have gone near to, have significant alteration associated with them. That includes tourmaline, biotite, silica, and pyrrhotite, so high temperature alteration in association with significant amounts of sulfide pyrrhotite veining. It's one of the most underexplored origins in New South Wales. And again, that's the GA and Geological Survey of New South Wales saying that. This belt scale opportunity, which is 5,500 square Ks, allows us to apply a very systematic approach to the exploration up here, so that the targets that are drilled are indeed our most convincing targets for a significant intrusion-related gold and copper deposit. So any success here opens up a multitude of walk-up drill targets. And the pathway discovery is using gravity and magnetics and significant modelling prior to drilling. So it's pretty straightforward. The cover sequence, importantly, and this is important because we wouldn't have gone up here had this not been the case, is geophysically transparent, which means that gravity and magnetics work in this region. We don't have issues with sufficient magnetism, so that these targets are bedrock targets underneath Mesozoic cover, which is between 50 to 200 metres thick. So it's a very effective way of targeting. We have seen that IP and also ground EM work up in this region as well. So it's shallow cover with geophysical targets. Geophysic that works in an undercover region means that there's cost-effective discovery rates, or the potential for cost-effective discovery rates. So what I show here is some of the more detail on some of the projects here. I'll be able to get into a little bit of detail. The F3 target, Cut B and Cut A are just three that I point out. But importantly, I just want to point out the size of these targets. These are magnetic bodies, modelled bodies, that require bodies that are greater than 100 million tonnes. So these three targets are between 100 and 350 million tonnes. So they're large magnetic targets. Now, that doesn't mean that the ore body will be that big. It's simply that the magnetic body appears to need to be that big. But that means that it is a large system, and that's important. So none of these targets have been drill tested. There have been drill holes that have gone nearby, but subsequent magnetic susceptibility measurements of that drill core indicates that the magnetism within that drill core does not adequately explain the aerial magnetic anomalies. So it's a pretty exciting region to still have these targets there ready to drill. The key observations that came out of that drilling, though, was the significant amount of alteration and the fact that some of these veins are, in fact, gold, silver, and base metal bearing. So that means we're in an area that can be potentially fertile for these types of systems to congregate in potentially economic quantities. So you see tourmaline, biotite alteration, and tourmaline and sulfide veins. So that's your high temperatures and large alteration zones. Cut A, 480 metre zone of alteration, silicification, veining, brecciation, indicating an extensive mineralised hydrothermal system, up to 3.73 grams per tonne gold. So these are the spot analysis, 58 grams per tonne silver, 0.2% bismuth, 105 ppm moly, 1.8% lead, and 1% zinc. So that's highly encouraging. In fact, I'm at the Londonderry Core Library where these historic core is stored, and we're looking at this core today as I speak. An example of what we're looking for up there is the Javieron deposit. And it's interesting because I've just told you about how successful it was for Greatland Gold. That deposit is what we're looking for in the Thomson. Javieron is an intrusion-related gold system and copper system in breccia vein and massive pyrrhotite-dominated vein styles. Its high-grade gold and copper mineralization was discovered under 400 meters of post-mineral cover, and there was drill testing of a magnetic and residual gravity anomaly that led to its discovery. I think it was about 192 meters at 2.9 grams per ton gold. From about 400 meters. So that's a substantial intercept, and it led to a drill out and obviously a substantial joint venture with Newcrest. And what are the similarities that we have up at the Thomson? Well, we've got bullseye to subcircular magnetic high anomalies. They're hosted in metasedimentary rocks. There's strong pyrrhotite mineralization through these systems, and the limited gravity that's been done has shown that there's gravity-related highs with some of the magnetic bodies. I show this cut C anomaly to simply demonstrate When we say that they've been drill tested, but the targets have not been drilled, this is what we mean. The Cut C anomaly is 130 million, modeled to be a magnetic body of about 130 million tons. On the right-hand side, I show the modeled magnetic body, and the blue line, I'm going to draw on here, which is through here, is the drill hole. You can see that it is miles away from testing that magnetic feature. And that's the sort of opportunity that we see as walk-up drill targets. They've simply just not been drill tested. The Cut A anomaly is a high priority at this stage anomaly for us to follow up. It strikes over about 1,000 meters. It's modeled to be a magnetic body of about 180 million tons. And the drilling that's been done there has shown a very large alteration zone, a 480 meter zone of silicification, veining, and brecciation, with assays up to 2.53 gold, 58 grams per ton silver, 0.12% bismuth, 105 ppm moly, 1.8% lead, and 1% zinc. Again, magnetic susceptibility measurements of the drill core indicate that the magnetic body was just not drill tested. So that is a bit of a background onto and a little bit more detail on the Thomson Project. So what we'll go through now are primarily the drilling projects that are ongoing now and what's awaiting assays. The first up is Ballura. So we're drilling a large epithermal system here with a world-class partner, Newmont. So after our drilling a couple of months ago, the assays are pending. We expect to get them back in full. I think it was September, and we're obviously looking forward to seeing what those are and reporting those to market. The important thing about the project here is that we have a very large project that has the funding secured to explore it through the Newmont JV. It's got ongoing work conducting. There's work getting conducted there right now, and the joint venture allows for us that if there is a Newmont discovery made, that the legacy company, legacy shareholders will retain a 20% loan carried to production ownership of the project. It's a district scale control of a 27 square kilometre low sulfidation vein field, and it's a target rich environment. So we've tested approximately 7 to 8 veins out of the multitude of veins that have been mapped on surface. And even those veins are still open along strike and down dip. And grades have been shown to exist. There's veins up to 3 meters wide that strike for greater than 2 kilometers. We've had intercepts of 9 meters at 2 grams gold, 28 grams per ton silver, almost 10% lead plus zinc from 145 meters at the Mount Felsted vein. Spot sampling, or rather face sampling, I should say, at the mine there, returned bonanza grades of silver and gold up to 3,700 grams silver and 6.9 grams per ton gold, combined with 6.4% copper and up to 55% combined lead plus zinc. So we know this system can host bonanza grades of both gold and silver. It's just about finding it. And that will only come through extended drilling. We've also had 6 meters at 3.56 grams per ton gold and 10.95 grams per ton silver, 0.22% copper and 6.47% lead plus zinc, returned from drilling at the Mimar project. And so we know that mineralization that we've seen at Mount Felsted continues across this area, and that's certainly supported by the soil sampling and the rock chip sampling that we've completed over the course of last year and earlier this year. Now, this was released earlier, but I just thought maybe we can touch on exactly what we're seeing here. On the left-hand side, we're seeing cockade breccias. These cockade breccias are dominated by chalcedony and adularia. And importantly, you can see a significant amount of sulfide. Now, on the left-hand side image, the sulfides there, we're not sure. We've got a feeling as to what they could be, but until the assays come back, that'll be the final tell. The little bands in the second from the left are dominated by white to yellow-white sphalerite and little bits of galena as well, plus other sulfides that are yet to be identified. And you can see that same texture in the center there. On the right-hand side, you can see the cockade texture again. That appears to be that's from a different drill hole, but appears to be the same strike of the vein as what you see. So BK2 and BK1 appear to be the same vein system. BK1, 29.8 meters, that is a distinctly different vein. So that appears to be a parallel vein to the other ones that you see there. It was intercepted in the same drill hole. But that's that beautiful classic quartz adularia or chalcedony adularia veining that's then been subsequently brecciated and silicified again. And about 800 meters to its west, we intercepted this. Something again that's similar, but again different. Another cockade breccia, but here you see a much more significant base metal input. Importantly, this and the other images that you just saw indicate a system that has undergone significant events of brecciation, multiple events of brecciation and veining. And that's important because every event provides the opportunity to introduce more metals into the system. The size of this vein was substantial, greater than 10 meters, and it indicates a very substantial extensional vein. Some beautiful textures there, and the study on this core is ongoing. So Glen Logan, this is a tier 1 copper gold porphyry target. It's being drilled in partnership with S2R, S2 Resources. This was pegged by Legacy and recognised as a potential porphyry target. It's a tier 1 Cadia style porphyry target. The testing is underway. Rio Tinto did not drill test this target, yet identified it as being prospective for a porphyry at depth. And they didn't test it in particular because it was modelled to be too deep. With modern geophysics and different ways of processing the magnetic data, it indicated that anomaly was actually far closer to surface, approximately 500 meters from surface, and well within the economic mining depths of porphyries these days. The joint venture agreement with S2R gives Legacy the opportunity to contribute or dilute from 30% ownership, and we have an option to have a 20% interest loan carried to production on this target as well. Importantly, this project is led and managed by a quality team led by Dr. Mark Bennett, and Mark Creasy is a major shareholder. Now, this has recently been put out, but certainly we haven't spoken to it, but it's a great block model that has been produced by S2 to provide insight as to what we see is happening down at depth. The modelled magnetic anomaly commences at about 450 to 600 meters from surface, with a diameter of about 600 meters and a vertical extent of about 1,000 meters. Historic drilling intercepted altered monzonite directly above the modelled intrusion. It had strong chlorite, sericite, and quartz zeolite alteration, which is comparable to the propylitic alteration commonly found distal to porphyry systems. And these holes didn't reach the Ordovician basement. But what's important about these is that those post-mineral intrusions are common in large and long-lived porphyry systems. Most recently we've seen them at Boda. And as such, the observation of monzonite drilling is considered to be encouraging for a large and older intrusive complex at depth, because the magnetic body and its location is consistent with an intrusion within the Ordovician Walleye volcanic group. It doesn't come through the overlying Silurian aged rocks. And importantly, they're of Llandovery age. Now, the Llandovery aged sedimentary and volcanic rocks are the same age rocks that overlie the Cadia East deposit. And as they've receded, they've exposed the porphyry at depth, and they're attributed to being one of the key reasons why that porphyry still remains to be mined today. It's the preservation factor that this cover sequence allows for those old porphyries to be preserved. So in fact, I've noticed that Waratah also has that Llandovery age rock just to the west of their Spur project, as they've had success in their drilling. So it's an exciting project. The Fontenoy project. This is currently getting explored by our partners Earth AI, an artificial intelligence PGE nickel discovery made earlier this year. 34 meters at 0.5 PGE, including a high grade zone of 10 meters at 1.2. Follow-up work from that was soil sampling and rock chip sampling, and that delivered the image that you see before you, which is this high PGE PGE in soil anomaly that sits further to the east of that 34 meter intercept. The discovery unlocked the potential for these magmatic related PGE nickel and copper deposits in our region, and it provides shareholders exposure to the potential for a PGE discovery. So a new type of system in the Lachlan Fold Belt, and a commodity that Legacy is not focused on, but certainly the thematics for potential PGE and uplift in that commodity price are there. And that's what this sort of discovery can allow for our shareholders. So we're very excited for the planned holes to be completed. Earth AI are currently out there at the moment drilling, and we look forward to reporting on the assay results. I'll touch on Drake. So they're the three projects that are being worked on by our partners. And in the background, Legacy continues to be busy. So the Drake project is an extensive and underexplored gold and copper system. So for our 100% stuff, we're focusing on three projects. The first is Drake. Now, the Drake is a big project. It's a legacy project. It's had a lot of data completed across it. And so the focus for the company has been to incorporate that data, do our QA/QC checks on the data, and incorporate into our database before coming up with a strategy to to explore the large mineral system that it is. It's an unrealized copper opportunity, extensive high grade and wide copper intercepts. High grade and wide copper intercepts, but there is an extensive copper oxide across several kilometers of the known open pits. But what's our strategy? Well, our strategy is very much to explore the project. It's an exploration license, and we'll be exploring the project to deliver substantial resources through the drill bit. It was purchased from White Rock last year, and resources on the EL and ELA, 320,000 ounces gold and 23 million ounces silver. The size of the caldera is comparable to other globally significant systems. Perspective for epithermal and porphyry deposits, and it's got similar features to other deposits such as Porgera and PNG. So it is a significantly large scale project, and we're greatly excited to be exploring it. And we're looking forward to providing an update in the near term on our progress there. This has been shown before, but it's important to touch on the pedigree of that project. 12.82 meters at 48 grams gold and 2,589 grams silver is the highest grade intercept on that project. The highest grade intervals on it went 0.91 at 230 grams gold and 9,000 grams per tonne silver. So they get up to significant bonanza grades. Elsewhere on that project, about 5 kilometers away, you still get mineralization. So the Red Rock resource, there is an 8 meter at 16 grams per tonne gold, including 17 grams silver, 0.53 copper, 1.4% lead, and 6.89% zinc. At Kylo, there's an intercept 118 meters at 1.71 grams gold. There is also an intercept there towards the Gladstone area of 16 meters at 5.8% copper from 58 meters and 10 meters at 7.26% copper from 88. And that drill hole hasn't had any follow-up. So obviously there is some interest from us to go back there. Further to that, there's substantial silver resources in this area. 26.5 meters at 220 grams silver is an example of some of the high-grade silver intercepts that do occur across the project as well. Lastly, the Black Range project. We continue to do regional fieldwork here. The guys will be back out onto the project next week. We have had a significant campaign of reconnaissance rock chipping, which will be followed up by soil sampling that's recently been completed. It's a exceptional district. It hasn't had any exploration really for gold and silver epithermal systems. There's many similarities between it and the Ballura system, and we're pleased to be the ones that are the first to really try and unpack this very large system. We've got a district scale control of the Mountain Creek volcanics, which is the volcanics that hosts the epithermal mineralisation. Newcrest were really the last to exploit with any sort of significance over 30 years ago. And that was relinquished around the same time as they made the Cadia discovery in 1992. Why is it a compelling project? It's because we see similar characteristics to what we've seen at Ballura. We see a widespread gold and silver anomalism, both at Sugarbag Hill and now recently at Mount Mylora, and that will continue to extend with some of the reconnaissance rock chipping that we've recently done between those two prospects. At 65 kilometres from Ballura, as I mentioned, with clear parallels, Newcrest dated the Black Range mineralisation to be of a similar age as the Ballura mineralisation. The large-scale potential is demonstrated by some of the rock chipping that I've just mentioned. So 1,400 grams per tonne silver and 2 grams per tonne gold. So as we continue to explore this project, targets will be generated, soil sampling will be conducted, and the highest conviction targets will be drill tested. So that is it. Thank you very much for your time. Legacy is targeting high-value discoveries across New South Wales. We're drilling across multiple projects. We've got secured funding with multiple partners, and those drill campaigns present us an ongoing price catalysts throughout the year. We remain focused on gold and copper, and we look forward to continuing to provide updates as exploration continues. So thank you very much.